Why feelings appear to be an obstacle to moral decision. Feelings, while central to human experience, can sometimes become obstacles to moral decision-making. The emotional responses we have to various situations can significantly influence our judgments, often leading us away from objective and rational ethical choices. This challenge arises because feelings are subjective, intense, and not always grounded in reason or ethical principles. In the realm of moral decision-making, where impartiality, fairness, and clear reasoning are essential, the intensity and nature of feelings can distort judgments and create conflicts between personal emotions and moral imperatives. In what follows, I will briefly discuss the reasons why feelings can be an obstacle to moral decision-making. On emotional bias. One of the primary reasons why feelings can be an obstacle to moral decision-making is emotional bias. Emotions such as anger, fear, or empathy can cloud our judgment and lead us to make decisions based on how we feel rather than what is ethically right. For instance, when people are angry, they may make impulsive decisions, such as acting out or retaliating, without fully considering the consequences or moral implications of their actions. Similarly, fear can cause an individual to avoid making necessary moral decisions, or to act in ways that are inconsistent with their values in an attempt to protect themselves from perceived harm. The subjective nature of emotions means that they can be easily influenced by personal experiences, cultural context, or even past trauma, which may not necessarily align with objective moral reasoning. When feelings take precedence over rational thought, individuals may make decisions that are not ethically sound, simply because their emotional reactions have overtaken their capacity for reasoned reflection. Conflict between emotions and moral principles. Another challenge posed by feelings in moral decision-making arises from the conflict between emotions and established moral principles. Ethical decision-making often requires individuals to consider broader concepts such as fairness, justice, and the well-being of others. However, emotions like favoritism or jealousy can lead us to prioritize personal relationships or self-interest over moral considerations. For example, an individual may feel a strong sense of loyalty to a friend who has committed a wrong, leading them to justify or overlook the friend's unethical behavior. In such cases, feelings like loyalty or affection may prevent a person from making a morally sound decision that is in line with universal ethical principles. Furthermore, emotions like guilt or shame can sometimes result in moral paralysis. When individuals feel overwhelmed by guilt for past actions, they may become paralyzed by their emotional response, preventing them from making clear decisions moving forward. Instead of focusing on what is right in the present moment, they may become trapped in a cycle of self-blame and inaction. On difficulty in emotional regulation. Feelings also pose a challenge in moral decision-making because of difficulties in emotional regulation. Emotions are often intense and difficult to control, especially when they arise quickly or unexpectedly. For instance, a person who feels an immediate sense of indignation about an injustice may act impulsively in a way that they later regret, especially if their actions were motivated by intense feelings of anger. In contrast, moral decision-making typically requires careful reflection, patience, and the ability to balance competing interests or values. When emotions are overwhelming, individuals may act impulsively and make choices that are inconsistent with their deeper moral beliefs. Effective moral decision-making often requires a degree of emotional detachment, allowing for an objective analysis of the situation without being swayed by immediate emotional responses. However, this detachment can be difficult to achieve when emotions are strong and uncontrolled, making it harder to make decisions that align with ethical values. On emotional reactions to moral dilemmas. When confronted with moral dilemmas, people may experience conflicting feelings that complicate their decision-making. For example, a person may feel sympathy for someone in need, but also feel resentment toward that individual for taking advantage of others. These conflicting emotions can create internal turmoil, making it harder to arrive at a clear moral decision. In such cases, feelings may not only obstruct the decision-making process, but also lead to indecision or moral inconsistency. In addition, moral dilemmas often involve trade-offs between competing values, and the emotional weight of these competing interests can make it difficult to navigate the situation. The pressure to resolve the dilemma quickly, combined with strong emotional reactions, may result in decisions that prioritize short-term emotional relief over long-term ethical considerations. In conclusion, while feelings are an essential part of human experience, they can complicate the moral decision-making process. Emotional bias, the conflict between emotions and moral principles, difficulty in emotional regulation, and the complexity of emotional responses to moral dilemmas can all hinder the ability to make objective and morally sound decisions. To navigate the challenges posed by emotions in moral decision-making, it is essential to cultivate emotional awareness and regulation, allowing individuals to recognize when feelings may be clouding their judgment and to make decisions based on reason and ethical principles. By balancing emotional intelligence with moral reasoning, individuals can mitigate the obstacles that feelings present in moral decision-making and make choices that align more closely with ethical values and the greater good.